I have the camera facing me. I wonder what I look like. I wonder how big they are these days.
Your swans are looking sick, bro. Your swans are looking sick, mate.
The beach is both ways.
See that? Because you could point to the stairs there, or you could point to the stairs back there, I like that you flexed while subtly supping a pint afterwards. Get the beer curls in.
Disappearing into the bottom of a glass.
And that's it. So welcome back to another episode of the Deductionist podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you're having a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, Hanukkah, wherever it is, wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this. That was just the first arbitrary holiday. I'm very well aware that there is no Hanukkah on the first days of August, but you never know when anybody might be listening to this in the future. So it might be at the time. I think.
And also, very nice of you to do such a thing. You're just being giving to those who will watch this later on.
I'm trying. I give till it hurts. Just right there. Right there. Hurts right there.
Give till it hurts. We met before. That was a wild night in Amsterdam.
We just need like the atypical sort of wife comment to go, "You fucking done it."
3 seconds and no more.
So how you been, man? How was the holiday?
It was good. I went to Spain, to Ben El Medina.
Medina?
A lovely little southern part of Spain. It was fantastic. Yeah, I got toasted. I didn't change colour much. Yeah, I got grey. I probably changed colour in the hair a little bit, but that's about me. You can see my eyebrows a little bit less.
Wait, you're working on the Doctor Strange cosplay. That's what it is, I reckon.
That's what I'm doing. I haven't been abroad at all. I've just made a disastrous attempt at comic con. They thought I was that sidekick for Napoleon in the film. Well, Napoleon Dynamite. That's the one.
Napoleon, and I've never seen Napoleon Dynamite. Never to this day. I've never seen it.
I've seen bits of it. I do know the little Mexican side character though. Unfortunately, not personally. I just mean just
I was going to say.
Not apparently, I look like him a lot. But that's me in a nutshell.
That's it. That's what. What?
How have you been?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. We had the we had the delays with mum and whatnot, it being back and forth to hospital and all that kind of stuff. Like she's been rushed back in today as well. So it's all still a bit kind of carnage. I think would be fair because we don't know anything about what's happening. We don't know anything about the situation. We just know that it's going south fairly quickly. It's one of those things. So that's pretty much where I've been. The video is delayed on Tuesday. It didn't go out till like Wednesday night as a result. But the lovely guys that subscribe to the channel were ever so lovely, and I'm sounding like an old English woman at the minute. You were ever so lovely in all of the lovely things that they were saying, and that was a joy to read. So thank you for all of your well wishes. I
hope she's all right.
Thank you. Me too. That was Maddie obviously promptly told me to go forth into the world and multiply, but she's at work at the minute, and with her working on the ambulances and one being called out, I rang her up. I was like, so there's been an ambulance call for mum. Is there anything you can do to bump her up the list a bit? And she was like, it doesn't work that way. I mean, can you imagine, like, if the NHS would be a free-for-all? It'd be like an Uber service.
Basically, just can you pass us over Maddie's number?
Exactly, right? Exactly. So when she develops that kind of capability, or if she ever develops that capability, I'm throwing myself in front of a bus or something just so I can jump under the queue. That was probably a bit too strong of a metaphor. Maybe off a small bridge or something. Maybe into a paddling pool. Something a bit safer. My point was, I'm testing the Uber service of the ambulances. That was it. That was all I was doing. I didn't need that kind of carnage in that metaphor. But we did a video on the Ricky Martin debacle that's come to light. Are you aware of this? Do you know what's happening?
I've not heard anything about this. Just the first you mentioned we'd be talking about this during the podcast. I was like, Ricky Martin. What's going on with Ricky Martin?
So it turns out that he is no longer living La Vida Loca.
No.
Well,
That's the thing we wanted to do about Ricky.
Yeah, he the long and short of it is, his nephew has made some quite choice allegations about him interfering with him.
No, not on his Vida Locas.
Right in the Vida Locas.
I couldn't think of another song.
Yeah.
Ricky Martin.
She no longer bangs.
She no longer bangs.
Well, it was She Bangs, wasn't it? That was the song.
She bangs, she bangs.
Yeah, I'm showing my age. She bangs, she bangs. Oh, baby, when she moves. That song.
So he's been Ricky in with the old.
Right in the Martin.
Put a D instead of the R there.
But yeah, and so I was sent the. I don't think it's the full video. It was like a 1.5, maybe 2 minute clip of him talking about how painful it was to go through these kinds of allegations, and how he wishes that person well, and how he wishes that guy well, and I hope you can find peace and love and don't hurt anyone anymore, and that did this anyone anymore, and the like. It's quite interesting, because more so than people hoping for some kind of deception around it, there wasn't a great deal to see, other than egocentricity, and clearly some kind of inner dialogue he was having with himself versus the words that he was trying to say. But one of the commenters on... No, go for it.
Stuff comes out, usually sometimes there is a question of like, oh God, like when they do the apology thing, is it rehearsed? Is it fake? Is it, especially something of this depth and kind of, what it insinuates is very sort of criminal.
It's full on, isn't it?
It's definitely criminal.
Full on.
When a celebrity comes forward immediately with some kind of a response to this, you're always like, oh, they did it. Oh, this is them trying to hide that they did it. But then again, like sort of like that video could show something else entirely. It could show a bit of like a bit of truth there, which not has yet been seen, because the media have just been hold of it so far. I myself, like I said before, knew nothing about this. But as soon as you said Ricky Martin has been diddling and fiddling with the old,
nephew.
Diddling after that, yeah. It's just like, well.
Exactly right. So he's kind of contended with the incest stuff, and so I watched some other videos after the fact, and it turns out that the case has been thrown out at the minute. It's not kind of irrefutable, as in he didn't do it or he did do it. It's just there's more stuff. There's more stuff going on at the moment. But one of the ladies that commented on it made a good point in terms of this kind of dialogue that he's having between his thoughts and like the actual words that are coming out of his face. When you're having those moments where you're trying to find the right thing to say, like I'm sure you've had a couple of moments like where you want to go, yeah, it was just like and then your brain's going, I have a dark joke reference here that we can say, but there's someone else going, this isn't the time, this isn't the time, this isn't the time. And so you have those kind of moments where you're like,
appropriate to do the joke, but
exactly. But it's a good point in terms of the things that need to be considered with those people that have second languages, 3 languages, 4 languages, whatever it is. Some of the buggers that speak 20 languages, it doesn't matter if you're speaking in something that isn't your native. If you're speaking in something that I'm coming out with all of the old man catchphrases, aren't I, tonight? Some of them buggers, like some of them buggers from over there. Bloody hell. That went a bit caricature-y, that did, didn't it? It was like I was trying to be an Easter's East. Oh dear. But what you've got to take into account is the way that people look to try and find words in that way, right? So if I were to say, oh God, like I'm doing it already. Si je cherchais des mots, j'aurais besoin de bouger plus quand je pense.
I will. I'll do it.
Right? But that's the thing. That literally, well, it should literally translate is if I was looking for words, I would need to move more when I think. And the like. Okay. That's when I'm looking for connections in that way. So when you have those moments where you go, oh, what do I mean? What was that? What's the word I'm looking for? And the like.
Yeah, when you kind of gear yourself to the answer.
Exactly. There's more action. This is if you think of the body in terms of thermodynamic relevance, there's more energy involved in it because you know what you want to say. You're just trying to find the word. Like it's just gone for the moment. You're like, what was that? That thing. What were we doing? With the with that other person. With the whatever it is, and the like. Those types of things happen all the time. And when you're dealing with, go on.
I was going to say a very interesting video in terms of. I know this is a bit of going off on the side here, but
we tangent all the time, mate. Don't worry.
This is truly a tangent. This is one of those YouTube videos I mentioned where it was about like deduction and what kind of people looking at celebrities.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And looking at the person and just filling out the blanks with stuff, which is very usually uneducated. But there's an interesting one I did see not too long ago about it was Keanu Reeves for John Wick. One of the latest John Wick film, and someone said through the history of his interviews, he'd basically talk. He's very handsy. It's all in the hand, that kind of thing. But when he's saying certain words, he takes a while to get to that word if it's a big word. And what he does is you see his hands go forward, and his hands will go out, and then he'll say the word. But the word, depending on its length, is sort of like if it's a big word, goes like that. If it's a small word, it goes like that. And at first I thought that's ridiculous. And then they showed the montage of things he said, and it was just like, and it was true. They were matching.
It is.
The hand were matching the size of the word.
It's. I love it. It's one example of body language, if you want to use that kind of the buzzword of words matching actions, words matching thoughts, actions matching words, matching thoughts in that moment. So when you're looking for words that words that connect to a dialogue, there's more energy and more involvement and more comfort within something that should be uncomfortable because you haven't got a word that you should know in those times. But when you find people like they would be talking to you and then they would say like, so I said to the judge that I would, you're not searching for that there, you're modifying it in that way. There's a clear stop. There's a clear disengagement in terms of focus. You're not going, so I said to the judge, oh God, what was it? What did I say? And they're like, I've totally forgot. Where are my notes? Whatever it is, in those moments, there is the clear pause, clear, I need to find the right way to communicate this at the moment, and then it leaks out. Even when you watch a lot of Mr. Martin's other videos, he's got a competency when it comes to English. I would imagine he would perform things like "Living La Vida Loca" and "She Bangs" in Puerto Rican and the like. I think it's Spanish in Puerto Rico. I mean, I don't know. I would guess it's probably Spanish.
Yeah.
But he has a competency level enough to do that, so he can find English words more readily and the like. I don't have that kind of competency with French yet, so it took me ages to figure out what I wanted to say. What was that?
I say I don't have that competency with English. Phenomenon.
So yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that you need to consider in terms of the movement matching your truer sense of your communication in those moments. I did it there, matching your stuttered, stumbled over it a little bit, and I'm looking around for that word, your truer sense of your communication, because I have those moments where my brain is wanting to say this word, it's 12 syllables long, and then somewhere down here there'll be yeah, but there's like a 3-letter word that will do just the same thing. What are you doing? Why are you trying to say that? And then I'll be like,
mix the two together.
Yeah, well. It's I may as well announce it actually, just for the sake of the people who will end up listening to this tomorrow. It's only just dawned on me that this isn't actually going out live. I updated the program that I use. I updated the program that I use to do this. And I set it all up as normal, and it turns out that it mustn't be going out live because I've checked YouTube in the background, and it's not published there. Oh well. It happens, doesn't it? It happens. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Yeah, well, it's my technological capabilities only go so far. In which case, they are shit.
Mate, you're spot on with all of this stuff. So it's got to happen. It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Like Spider-Man in Family Guy, everybody gets one.
Yeah.
Everybody gets one, Peter. So yeah, that's something that I figured we would touch on here as well, because that was a lot of information to communicate in a humble YouTube comment. So I figured we go. If you're going to hear additional noise and clanking and clattering, the wife is just returning home from work, and the dog is going to go summarily crazy as a result. So you'll hear lots of what sound like 400 borrowers wearing high heels on the floor, and you'll hear that throw
to disguise the fact that there's 100 borrowers currently having a party in your living room.
Well, you heard the reverb before we started the stream. What was that voice in the background? What was that? It's technically it's the borrowers' party. That's what's happening.
It's Father Borrower.
So a couple of weeks ago, I actually put forth the information that I was going to be releasing a free 1-hour coaching session on situational awareness and the like, which is out. So we're going to play the trailer for it for you right now. We've got a video, and yay! How about a little test then? What did you observe? Nothing? Try again. Not enough time, or didn't really know what you're doing? How about this? 2 separate groups of 3 women. There wasn't an ashtray on every table. 2 of the women in the separate groups are smoking. The smaller bar was closed. There's a retractable roof. Both parties have multiple bags from obvious shopping trips. There are a few people, considering it's the evening sun, so it's prime time for pubs and bars and that kind of thing. There's no TVs outside, and the buildings in the skyline are quite recognisable as being the centre of England. Let's speed this up to get it all done.
Mondays, Fridays and Saturdays being very popular drinking times given the time of day that it looks like. The smaller bar in the back is closed, which would at least be deemed prepped if this were looking like a busy night, and it's barren, so it's more than likely a weekday. Thursdays would be more likely for a town centre given the frequency of things like the arts and bands and stand-up and the theatre that are statistically...
My point in telling you all this is that there is a lot of information out there. It's not always relevant, but it's always there. And 90% of the times, we don't even notice. So depending upon your purpose, your job role, or your reason for being an observer of the world, this is information that you can use. So checking off all the criteria, and then you add in popularity as well. All in all, we have an upmarket cocktail establishment on a Thursday night in the middle of either Manchester or London, with shops within walking distance and closely located to other nightlife aspects. Fun, right? My name is Ben Cardle, and I wrote this. This is The Monographs, best-selling book on the skill set of Sherlock Holmes. Everything you need to know on starting your way of seeing the world contained in one glorious place. So what, right? After all, anyone can write a book. It's just that now this has led me to working with some of the top security professionals from around the world, teaching people from everywhere how to do this for the protection of themselves and those around them. And I now spend my day-to-day job office hours as Director for Behavioural Insights for ProCipher, which specialises in training for counterintelligence, protective services and human performance. Training itself can be a long and sometimes costly experience. So precisely what I've done here is created for you a 1 hour course, lecture, chat, discussion, session on what it takes to observe the world in this way and how to get started right away. And the best part, it's absolutely free. No catch, no trick, no nothing. One of the questions that's most frequently asked is, how do you make details stand out? How do you decide what's relevant and what isn't? How do you know what to look for? The key takeaway should be details matter. You don't know whether it's relevant or it's not without a purpose. So it really shouldn't matter where you are. You should never be without the non-verbal communication needed to do your job. Sign up today to find out more. Hey, how good is that?
I was literally just typing a response to you as well. Okay.
See, proof if any was needed that I can actually work technology.
You can. That was fantastic. That was.
Thank you. But yeah, so that's something that everybody can get on board with at the minute. So the link to that will be I don't know. Let's do the posh thing. Link will be down there in the comments, like that way around. And like I've seen the kind of catch up section of me doing that bit. I look like some monkey. It was just invaded the kind of screen for a minute. In those moments. But yeah, so that's out now. That's live. For those that catch these podcasts on a regular basis, it's something that you can get involved in, and I can't say it any more obviously than that. It's free. If you click on the link, you'll be asked to put in your name and your email address. I mean, if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. That's entirely up to you. Whatever you want. But these are the types of skills that I'm teaching on the regular basis to just some elite scary dudes from around the world that get involved in some things that I'm really not allowed to talk about. I had a terrible moment in the so I've got a private group and and we do training once a week, and I started. I'm trying to modify my speech now as we go. I started a discussion about a particular topic, about a particular technique. I was like, so, and then I went, so here's how this would work. A few years ago when I was in, and I just rattled off the few opening bits of and my brain's gone, we shouldn't have started this. We shouldn't have started this sentence at all. And literally, it boiled down to me saying, I spoke to some people about some things, and then I came home. That's pretty much how it went. Because I'm never too sure about what I can say and what I can't, given that like this stuff is well within the public domain, and then the other stuff is big fat not in the public domain. It's the other side.
On the big plug at all times, just in case you. Oh, wait, let's just power cut.
At all times, I got my feet hooked up to car batteries so I can build in a stroke whenever I need it. That's what it is. But at least
that can just buzz, like tase you, say some keywords.
I kind of live like through vicariously nerdy now. Like this is how Marvel actors must feel a lot of the time.
Be a Benedict Cumberbatch, don't be a Tom Holland.
There's another catchphrase. Done. Yeah. We're rolling those stuff off. Oh, that reminds me. I still need to bring you your T-shirt. I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find it now without looking.
That's where I realise you've been using it as your bath towel. Oh, it's a beautiful T-shirt. Yes.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it.
And it's got it's great tagline. Some minds, some microphones, maybe some terrible jokes.
I mean, I can't. That'd be perfect once because you've got yours on now, so then I can feel like more inclusive to the merchandise once I've got mine.
Right. Part of the ship, part of the crew, and the like. So yeah, the 1 hour session is just exactly as it is. It's going to go right the way through from explaining some methods to giving you the knowledge of how and why things work, applications that you can do on a day-to-day basis, and then an actual honest to goodness test of the details, right? I know, right? Learning something and not putting it to use. How utterly terrifying! How utterly scary, and the like. But yeah, so I made no secret of the fact in terms of the connections that for those people that want that session, they can have it and the like. But it's done with the afterwards consideration that I will be contacting you to talk to, not like you specifically. I mean, I can contact you specifically about it if you want to come on the course as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can do. But I just it sounded very direct. I'll be contacting you. So yeah, I'll be contacting those that do sign up, that do join in. To give you all some details about a full-on course that you can get involved with that is not free, sadly, but it's like just ridiculously cheap. Like in terms of what you get, it's like Sherlock's Memory Secrets level cheap, and that was like I think that was like 10 or 12 hours of stuff for $7. And the likes. That's a pretty good deal, I thought. But I'm doing it because this is a new method that I've been kind of I could bullshit up with new language that I've been pioneering when in reality I've been trying it out. That's really the way it goes. I've been trying it out. Yeah.
Pioneering is, isn't
it? Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd need to look up the dictionary definition for that. But like in some of the practice, I had some people that I know go to other people that I don't know or couldn't possibly know, and they were to send me a photo of an object or parts of their house or something, and then I would use these techniques to try and give distinctly personal details about them. And so I on one of the profiles I sent it back, and it was Amir actually. Do you remember Amir, the hypnotist from Serbia we had on? So we went to a couple of his mates, and she'd just taken a picture of her bookcase and a couple of shelves in her kitchen. And I rattled off just so much personal detail. Apparently, she started crying, and like she not that should be celebrated. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But that's how personal this information was. And like there was someone else that sent me a picture of just some random ornament that had clearly been crafted, and it was on a TV stand in our living room. and then I sent the information back that she was a primary school teacher, she was this age and enjoyed this, blah 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 blah, and the thing itself looked like a handcrafted marching band hat. And the like. So on the surface, there was no kind of connected information, but this is the kind of stuff that I'm looking to try and put out there, looking to try and share with as many people as I can. But as I've said once before, guys got to eat, guys got to eat. Have you seen how much the inflation's going up now in the UK?
Oh my lord! It's never ending. I know petrol. The price of petrol, in terms of what it's costing for the company, has gone down, but they're keeping it at an all-time high for making profit now, and that's going to be the case with everything, isn't it? Everything's, even if it goes cheaper now, places are going to sell it. Tesco, they're bloody scandalous for what they're doing at the moment. They're just pocketing profits left, right, and centre. And I imagine every company's going to, argue it for so long, and then they're going to do the same thing, aren't they? Just take whatever they can from us.
What I don't get. Well, let's be fair, I do get, but I shouldn't get. And I'm not saying that like I shouldn't get it. Like we as a race shouldn't get it. Like we've looked at as England, bear in mind, because I can't comment on anywhere else. That went profound to really quite small. That was intense. Well, not really intense, but that wasn't intense. So we've been looking at like 198, 199, £2 litres for a while. And then all of a sudden it's coming down to like 181, 182. And oh God, isn't that cheap? No, that isn't cheap. That's the point.
That shouldn't be standard. But it is.
That's the point. Like, put that same situation into a different context, right? You've got a spousal abuse. One person beats up the other person, black and blue eyes, black lips, purple neck, and the like, and then it kind of heals. Then one day, just gets a dead leg, and then the person that's been abused go, "Oh, that was all right." Both are still wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both are still wrong.
You're still watering down a really awful situation, aren't you? That's
exactly.
all you do. The rest of a bad situation, but it's still bad. Doesn't change that.
And this is what I was thinking about with the whole emotional qualities being antagonistic to clear reasoning. That as soon as we as a country stop hoping for a miracle, which let's face it, it ain't going to happen, the more content with our demise we're going to be. Which is by no means a...
people just want the middle ground, don't they?
Exactly. That's just something that will get you by. This kind of aspirational quality that the Tories are going to pull it out of the bag. They're not going to pull shit out of the bag. Well, they might pull shit out of the bag and throw it at the commoners.
With everything, or more than likely, with everything going on in the political world at the moment, it almost... how it's portrayed in the media, it's kind of like a circus act, isn't it? And we suffered the height of it with what was going on with Partygate and everything like that. But it wasn't solved with Boris leaving and other factors that fell into it. We're still in a pretty wank situation. Yeah. And like you said, you just filter something down, it still doesn't make it good. It's just
shit.
Acceptable situation, isn't it?
Yeah. I would be more contented with the fact that we are knackered.
Yeah.
At the minute, right? Doesn't mean that I think it's okay, because I big fat don't. I big fat don't. Where if have you seen that, like, people because I don't know, some companies are setting up things called warm banks, like food banks, but for heat.
Oh, really? Flipping heck. They're thinking it's that bad now. It's
absolutely unreal. Yeah, the cold snap's gonna do some frigging damage this time, I think. Wow. But it's just
cold air bagged that up.
Exactly. Just sit in front of the Hoover if you want some hot air.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. Well, I don't suppose that helps actually, because you still got to pay for it with the lecky.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. Well, did you see Rishi on one of his interviews the other day actually use the phrase, "Well, we've got a huge problem with human rights laws."
Oh, have we? I did not know. My God. Wow. Where did all this come from?
And you want to be prime minister? They're setting a precedent, aren't they? Really, when you think David Cameron, let's vote for Brexit. Oh, it's going tits up. I'm out. Theresa May, let's try and sort out Brexit. Oh, it's going tits up. I'm out.
Yeah.
Boris Johnson can't do anything. It's going tits up. I'm out. Rishi. Like,
I mean, you kind of sort of like, you get these people in and you get them sort of like to expect the whole sort of charade of like, we're going to fix the country, we're going to do this, do that, it's all going to be changed now. And they're only sort of like mentioning these very relevant facts as if we don't already know them, like human rights. Like, there's still a war going on. What are you on about, like, with human rights? Yeah, they're being fucking blown to pieces all over the country, well, over in the Ukraine at the moment. You've got all these massive issues, and you're now saying, we've got some human rights issues. Mate, bloody hell.
Mate, one of his policies is like, I'm going to be the guy that's going to try and sort out the economy. You spent the last 2 years ruining it.
You're going to undo your mess? Well, that's, how nice of you. Good God. Gee. That's like taking a shit on the floor and then, getting clapped because you say, I'm going to pick it up now. Don't you worry. You can deal with this shit. What's your shit, mate?
Speaking of which, KP rang me the other day.
I'm sorry?
Exactly. I didn't answer. I don't know. I didn't answer.
I can't even
fathom the connection. Like, why? I don't know.
That's an odd one.
Yeah. But like when I looked over at this will serve the place as my phone. I looked over. I went. Maddie was like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Someone I'm not answering the phone to."
I'm good. Has he been watching the podcast?
Well, hi.
You are.
Yeah. If you are watching the podcast, I'd probably stop. It's not gonna go well for you.
Nah.
It's not. And you totally deserve it as well. That's the thing. Anyway, back on point, right? Back on point. Amber and Johnny.
Oh, sorry. I meant to ask as well. Have you seen the Will Smith apology?
I have seen the Will Smith apology. I have.
It felt. I felt a little bit for him. I did feel a little bit for him. I did feel ever so sorry with the situation, I suppose. Yeah. And then again, at the same time, I thought, like, well, I feel sorry for anyone in that situation now.
The thing. Go on.
I was going to say, it was it's one of those things where it's expected. It's a tough one because it's expected, isn't it? You could look at it from several ways. You could look at it from PR people in his ear saying, leave it a bit, now do it. Or you can see his family in his ear, do it. If you're never going to do it, you need to do it for our sakes. Or you can see it as him, genuinely trying to assess fan base, the public, who, in the industry with him, and then him trying to kind of calm the waters, as it were. So there's all these factors that fall into it. But I thought, like, I wonder how you just watch this with fresh eyes, like, you kind of perceive it in an honest way.
I've just kind of stumbled on a really great pun that describes the scenario. He's stuck between a rock and several hard places. Right?
Yeah.
But he is.
Yeah.
He is stuck. And don't get me wrong, it's a mess of his own making. It's a complete mess of his own making. But he's still stuck between a rock and several hard places, because with that kind of video, he's not going to be able to do right for doing wrong, wrong for doing right. You know, he's going to be damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. You know, if he's waited 3 months, there's going to be the why didn't you do it sooner? If he waits a couple of days, it's going to be you haven't really had enough time to reflect on your actions. There's that kind of dynamic. So when you're thinking about the whole PR team, family, and himself, when I saw it, and I don't know if there's a full version anywhere. I've only it was like a 2.5 minute clip or something like that. Was it? He answered a couple of questions, and it's a combination of all three in those moments, and he's not got the balance right at all. Because the PR people have created a professionally lit scenario, and he's wearing a hat and got a bottle on the side for product placement for his own water company.
Yeah,
That shit doesn't belong in an apology video. You're disingenuous right from the get go because of those two things. You're already on the back foot.
Yeah,
You're already there. So his apology is now most people going.
I mean, they've already made up their opinions, haven't they? As soon as they've clocked those things.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people. I said something was about the make of his shirt, and it was just like
I didn't clock the make of his shirt. What was it?
I don't know about it, but all I read about it was in the comments of just like, oh, it was a good way to put forward this something to do with the shirt he was wearing and the actual company that he had a share in or something like that. And I was just like, oh well. I didn't notice it. I'd watched the video first and then looked at it after, and I just thought, like, it could be, couldn't be. It's one of them. I didn't notice the water bottle thing though, but that makes it even more.
Well, that's the thing, you know. If it's his idea, it's a terrible idea. If it's his family's idea, then it's a terrible idea. If it's his PR campaign's, it's a terrible idea, right? That you're totally detracting from the whole. The whole nature of the apology. If you've legitimately done 3 months worth of work, and from the look of his face, he's done some serious reflecting on it. He's done some serious reflecting, and you can hear the work in his voice. You can hear the lack of sleep. You can hear the engagement of anxiety in that kind of gravel and tension in the way he's breathing, being held specifically from here. You can see that there, but. Whether he has or whether he hasn't, I personally think that he has done the reflection based on that. But whether he has or whether he hasn't, those bits immediately mean it's off the table. No one cares. It would be like me going, Adam, I apologise to you for keeping you under the stairs for as long as what I have. You know?
I know. I know you would.
To quote Jack Sparrow, keep telling yourself that, darling. But yeah, it was a wash of not well thought through endeavours, which would mean that if Will is as lofty and intelligent as he claims to be about that matter, based on the work that he's done, then he is part of the composite problem. Right, because he's seen what's around and gone, that's fine, that's great, we're set, we're lit, we're whatever, and the like. But you need to be thinking of this from other people's perspective, right? Other people's perspective. Yes, it's hurt your family. In the nicest possible way, no one gives a shit in that scenario. No one cares. You got up and smacked another man in the face. It's not about you. It's not about your family in that moment who've had to listen to maybe some bad words. They are celebrities. It's par for the course. And again, I'm not saying that's okay, but that's par for the course. You struck another person in the face. He was right to apologise to Chris Rock's mother. That's a respect angle there that I very much agree with in that moment. But it stank of complete. Mismatched, non-verbally communicative narratives.
Sound like he was almost trying to, in a way, he was looking to apologise directly to Chris and to his family, and you were aware of what he did, but at the same time, there's that aspect in your mind was like, where does he start trying to salvage his half? And then you realise when he brings up family is how he's being affected. That even though he's not worded it in that way, he's still saying, "Oh, also I've been affected, and this kind of, and this my family, and I need to."
Exactly. And
Like,
you'd be thinking, well, you should have.
Well, I apologise and such. Apologise to them elsewhere.
Yeah.
On a different platform to them directly. Like, make a separate video to them if you're really going to go that way.
Yeah.
But save the apology.
Yeah.
To the people.
If you're breaking down the logic of the scenario and you want Chris Rock's forgiveness, why is it a public apology?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's and you can say that about all public apologies that have gone on, right? Public apologies exist as career savers because they are designed to appease a fan base so they can get them back into whatever art they've stepped out of because of their actions and the like, So that's
argue apology was at the end because he pretty much asked for forgiveness from the fan base and basically in a very friendly kind of way was saying, we will, it'll be all right, and can we get back to the way we were, kind of thing. Like, it basically retain an image, isn't it? It's saving the image or doing what you can. It's actually bread and butter. Fair enough, I suppose, in a way. You can't argue that because you're like, well, your career, that's your business, your career kind of thing.
I get it.
It's not just you apologising, it's you apologising for
your
job, in a way.
Yeah, it was the whole Tesco horse meat thing. They didn't just upset the horse community. It was en masse to everybody that got fed the wrong steep of shit in that moment. But that's the thing with this. I'm of the opinion that if you're going to do something like that, then you reap the benefits. And if your benefits are you're no longer in work, you're a multi-millionaire, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
There's people that have done bad things in worse situations and come out of it on top. And I think at the end of the day, like you say, you're on a bed that it's going to be a bed for you for life.
Exactly. Like the whole thing with JD as well. That's going to follow him around forever. Despite the fact with these documents coming out as well, people have gone. I say people, whatever judge it was, because I don't know her name off the top of my head. As doubled down as well, like Amber's maliciously done out and come. That information for both parties, that ain't going to go away. Like look at Louis C.K. When he did what he did, he took how long was it off? 2 years, something like that.
Came back with was it a DVD or was it like a special?
He came back to a comedy club.
Yeah.
And the like. And it started off with saying like, "How was your year? Anyone else lose $35 million?" Right, but
it's funny, but at the same time, it's clever, isn't it?
Exactly. He made his apologies through the back channels, rightly to the right people in that area, sorted it out in the back channels, rightly to the right people, took off however much time was required for him to be able to do the work and rebuild what he'd lost based on what he did in those moments. Yeah, and now he's come back.
I suppose with anything, if you ever do something publicly wrong, and if you weren't in the acting industry or an industry where you were on the front line of media, if you say you worked for a big commercial company or retail company, you did something bad, you would disappear. But obviously, you would have to go back to work. You're not going to change it.
No.
You can have back to what you know. You're going to have to do the work personally before you then return to your career. That's all they're doing, really.
Yeah.
They've got to come back to work.
Yeah.
And
just
do that.
On a grander scale, on a grander scale, you need to take those. This is why it may feel to some like we're kind of losing our initial topic, being the Sherlockian reference going out to this. But if you think about it, a logician from a drop of water could infer Niagara or the Indian Ocean and the like. This is what a logician does. A logician breaks down these kinds of situations to understand the true meaning behind them in those moments. And I'm not saying that this is complete 100% the true meaning, because we're operating with information that, as the ignorant public, we'd never have. But this is why these types of things are fun to talk about, because you're looking at flawed logic on mass throughout millions of people, throughout empowered celebrities, and so it keeps going and it keeps going, and it shouldn't be disregarded as a result.
Absolutely. I think in terms of what we talk about on this podcast, usually with deduction and reading people and certain society issues where we will kind of like relate one point to another. I think this is very relatable in the sense that it's humanity, isn't it? Dealing with actuality, reality, and you're trying to that human aspect of deducing whether what you're watching is facade or whether you're getting a genuine reaction from someone. It's curious because you're just like, at the same time, like, oh, well, like say he's got all this money. Why should we care? But a lot of people do care. He does have a massive fan base.
He does.
He is an influencer.
He does. Yeah.
And there's a kind of responsibility that comes with that. And, he wouldn't necessarily, in the world of deduction, be like the first person to go to where you'd look at, someone and say like, oh, is this necessarily important to the topic? But yes, he is in a way, because the character he comes out, if you're looking at this as a Sherlock novel, as deceptive characters and true characters and that sort of thing, he'd be one of those characters where you're just like, oh, well, you're full of character, you're flamboyant. Is there something going on under there? What's your reasoning? What's going on in terms of what you're saying? Is there truth?
Exactly.
Are there other human factors?
100%, mate.
Massively different.
Beautifully put, sir. Beautifully put. But that's how you can see through the true nature of apology videos. They're grandstanding from celebrities and the like. So yeah, guys. On that note, we're going to love you and leave you. Hope you all enjoy the free 1 hour session and the like. And we will talk to you next time, where we have some more stuff of this vein, ilk, subject matter, whatever it is, to flippantly curse over and the like. So until such time, bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.